Hey, we got another Suicide Squad movie, and why the hell not? Because after that 2016 abomination that was the Suicide Squad film starring Will Smith, we need to get that shitty taste out of our mouth and have a new fresh start. So we got rid of most of the original cast, and more importantly, they brought in James Gunn. And for those of you who are not familiar with James Gunn is the man who was responsible for the two Guardians of the Galaxy movies in the MCU. And I'll be honest, I'm a big movie guy, but I didn't really know who James Gunn was prior to the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. But man, when I saw what he could do with this pretty well relatively unknown group of characters and make it into such a fun and exciting film, he brings that same energy and that same kookiness and quirkiness to the Suicide Squad, and I gotta say, it's a perfect damn fit. This Suicide Squad film, it just jumps right into the action. There's no need for all that backstory and why you're doing this and who's behind all of this, because all of that was taken care of in the original film, and this is a sequel to that movie because, like I mentioned before, there are a few handful of characters that come back from that first movie and are featured in this one. So, but you know, the movie just kind of assumes you know what's going on, doesn't get too much into the whole why of the Suicide Squad, and just throws you right in. That first action piece, I was already smiling and I knew I was gonna like this movie a lot. Because why? It's rated R for one thing. That means there's gonna be gore, there's gonna be blood, there's gonna be violence, and I love all of that shit. So, and it's done in such a cartoony way that it's not gonna, you know, offend anybody. It's not gonna scare off anybody. It's all done in pure fun, and I freaking loved it. I love the headshots, the explosions, and all that gore and stuff. And again, it's cartoony gore, so I was just laughing at it. There's a lot of jokes in there, and yeah, that first act, that first action scene, I'm like, whoa! I was already pretty blown away. I was like, okay, this film has a lot to live up to after that first act. And you know what? Overall, the film does. With this new Suicide Squad, we're introduced to a few new characters. You got John Cena as Peacemaker, you got Idris Elba as Bloodsport, you got the Polka Dot Man guy, you got the Rat Catcher, you know, so these characters seem so random. You kind of makes you wonder who thought of these people and who created these characters, you know. I mean, the Rat Catcher woman, she speaks to rats. And the polka dot guy, he throws polka dots out, and it sounds really weird, but when you see it in action, you know, James Gunn is actually able to make that shit look really cool on film and make their powers actually have some relevance to the story. Kind of unlike Black Widow in the Avengers movies, you know, like I said before in that Black Widow review, Black Widow ain't really got no place in those big Avengers fights, so what the hell. But in this movie, all these random characters, they actually have a role to play and a relevance to the fight, which I dug. I will say that the middle portion of the film drags a little bit, somewhat. The story doesn't quite proceed at the same pace as it did in the first act, but when you get to that final action set piece, I'm like, holy crap, it just kind of keeps going, and then it takes you to places that you never really were expecting. Like, you got some, yeah, I don't want to give any spoilers away, but you got some pretty out there nut stuff, and I was just loving every minute of it, and I kind of didn't want it to end because I was having so much fun with it. I did mention there's a handful of characters that come back from the first Suicide Squad movie, and of course, we gotta talk about Margot Robbie. I mean, really, I just think this actress is fantastic, and she nails that role of Harley Quinn so well. You know, Harley Quinn is sexy, but she's crazy, and she's not, you know, gonna back down from a fight, and she's a smart aleck, and she's just able to embody this character so well. And I think this is her best performance of Harley Quinn, more so than the first Suicide Squad movie and the Birds of Prey film. James Gunn was really able to let her shine and give her film time and really showcase what the character is really about. And thinking of Harley Quinn, it made me remember another facet of this film that I really liked. The action scenes are really well done. You know, I had a big complaint about Snake Eyes in my review for that film. You know, it had all that shaky cam stuff, and it was so close to the action you couldn't tell what the hell was going on. There's this one scene with Harley Quinn, which is kind of similar to the Old Boy Hammer hallway scene. It's not that long, it's not that complicated, but it's like maybe a 5 to 8 second clip of one continuous take, and I thought it was beautiful. It was so well done, well choreographed, and like, why can't movies do more of that? James Gunn, I can't say enough about the guy. He took a ragtag team of characters in Guardians of the Galaxy and made that succeed, and he's done the same here. So the Suicide Squad I thought was great. I love the banter between John Cena and Idris Elba. You know, Idris Elba, I haven't really been a fan of his, to be honest. I think I personally feel he's like one of those overrated actors where people just seem to just fall in love with whatever he's doing. I never really felt it myself, but this is the first film that I feel like I actually enjoyed his performance as Bloodsport, and I'm not sure if it was deliberate or not, but his character's name is Bloodsport, and they actually have a reference to a famous line from the Bloodsport movie, which I thought was really cool. And like I said, when I heard it, I was like, oh, was that deliberate or was that just a coincidence? I'm not quite sure. And you diehard Bloodsport fans will definitely know what I'm talking about when you see it in the movie. So yeah, the Suicide Squad, it's rated R, it's gory, it's bloody, it's funny. The action scenes are great, the characters are fun, and the way they use their powers is really interesting. So I had a really, really great time with this movie, and I highly recommend it for you. So for me, The Suicide Squad gets a 9 out of 10. Once again, thank you so much for watching my review, and let me know what your thoughts about the movie. Put a comment down below and let me know what you thought of the Suicide Squad. And if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up, and if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to my channel MC on Film for more reviews in the future.